In the heart of the jungle, an ancient force reigns supreme, raw, untamed, and explosive. With muscle-packed limbs and the strength to tear trees from the earth, the silverback gorilla is nature's living tank. But what if it came face to face with a real one? Steel meets sinew, instinct battles armor, a clash of primal fury against military precision. You've seen tanks dominate war zones, but could they withstand the wrath of one of Earth's strongest animals? It's the ultimate what-if showdown. One built by nature, the other by man. No guns, no soldiers, just one silverback and one tank. Today, we find out, how much damage can a gorilla really do? The answer might surprise you. The silverback gorilla, towering at nearly 6 feet tall and weighing up to 400 pounds, is a force of nature. With its muscular frame and incredible strength, it's capable of feats that seem straight out of a superhero movie. A single punch from this primate can deliver an impact more powerful than that of a heavyweight boxer, with the force to shatter bones or crush thick branches with ease. Its bite force, clocking in at over 1,300 pounds per square inch, is strong enough to break through tough vegetation or even crush metal bars. But what truly sets the gorilla apart is its intelligence. It's not just muscle. The gorilla can strategize, understand its environment, and use tools when needed. While these animals are mostly peaceful, they're highly territorial and will fiercely defend their space when threatened. On the other side of the battle, we have the modern tank, a symbol of military power and technology. The M1 Abrams, or the T-90, are some of the most advanced tanks in the world, weighing in at over 60 tons. They're designed to take on missiles, bombs, and artillery. The armor on these tanks is up to 12 inches thick in some areas, capable of withstanding massive impacts, and they are powered by engines that can propel them through almost any terrain, including dense forests or rugged landscapes. Equipped with a 120mm smoothbore cannon, these tanks are built to obliterate targets with precision and force. In this head-to-head battle, it's not just about size and strength. It's a matter of raw power versus reinforced protection. The gorilla's natural ability to adapt to its environment and its sheer physicality may seem like it could make an impact. But the tank, designed to survive on the battlefield, is built to withstand extreme pressure. The question is, can the gorilla even scratch the surface of the tank, or will it be completely outmatched by the power of modern technology? When you put a silverback gorilla against a tank, the comparison between their strengths becomes a fascinating clash of nature versus engineering. The gorilla, with its raw power and brute strength, could likely attempt to physically damage the tank by targeting weak points, like the tracks, wheels, or even the turret. Imagine the gorilla charging toward the vehicle, slamming its massive fists into the metal. Could the gorilla dent the armor? It's unlikely that it would be able to break through the thick, reinforced steel of the tank. Tanks are designed to withstand enemy fire and explosive impacts, things far more powerful than the punches of even the strongest animals on Earth. But it's not just about hitting the tank head-on. The gorilla might try to climb the tank, perhaps aiming to rip off antennas, or break into more vulnerable areas like the vision ports or the tracks. These areas, though protected, might be more susceptible to a determined gorilla with its incredible grip and strength. The tracks are particularly vulnerable in uneven terrain, and if the gorilla managed to damage or disable them, it could severely limit the tank's mobility. However, let's consider the tank's countermeasures. The tank's turret, with its advanced targeting system and weaponry, is likely beyond the reach of the gorilla, especially when it's in motion. Even if the gorilla somehow managed to get close, the tank's crew would have the advantage of speed and firepower. A single shot from the tank's main gun could completely neutralize the gorilla before it even got close enough to land a strike. But what if the tank doesn't fire? What if the battle comes down to the gorilla's ability to outlast the tank, using its environment to its advantage? Could it find a way to outsmart the machine, maybe by attacking the weak points in a hit-and-run style? Or would the raw power of the tank's design and weapons simply be too overwhelming for the gorilla to even get a chance? The real question here is not just about strength or brute force, but how the two contenders would interact in such a unique and extreme situation. Could the gorilla outmaneuver the tank, or would it be easily overpowered by the sheer technological advantage of modern warfare? To get a clearer understanding of how this battle would unfold, let's break it down with a simulation. Imagine the scene: the tank, rumbling through dense jungle terrain, its massive treads pushing aside foliage and debris. The gorilla, its eyes locked on the tank, prepares for the ultimate confrontation. It's not just about strength, but strategy, instinct, and the ability to adapt to the environment. The first move comes from the gorilla. It charges, sprinting with remarkable speed for its size, heading straight toward the tank. With its powerful arms swinging, it aims a devastating punch at the side of the tank. The impact is massive, but the thick armor barely shows any sign of damage. The tank's surface remains intact, impervious to the gorilla's raw power. The gorilla steps back, reassessing, trying to figure out the best way to get past this formidable opponent. The next move involves the gorilla's agility. It tries to climb the tank, using its incredible strength and dexterity to scale the metal beast. It reaches the turret and begins banging its fists against the metal, hoping to inflict some damage. But even as the gorilla lands blow after blow, it becomes clear that the tank's design makes it almost impossible to do significant damage. The turret's reinforced structure and the hard steel make it tough for the gorilla to cause any real harm. Meanwhile, the tank's crew inside remains calm, assessing the situation. The tank's weapons are pointed outward, ready to respond if necessary. The tank's turret swivels slowly, keeping its sights on the gorilla, while the tracks begin to churn as it moves, slightly adjusting its position to avoid being flanked. The gorilla, sensing the tank's next move, tries to leap out of the way, using the terrain to dodge. But as the tank fires a warning shot, the shockwave from the blast sends the gorilla retreating momentarily. But the gorilla doesn't give up easily. It circles back, trying again and again to find any weak spots, attacking the tank's tracks, its vision ports, and its exposed equipment. Each time it tries to land a blow, the tank's armor holds firm. The gorilla is relentless, continuing its assault, but it's clear that without a specific weak point to exploit, its efforts are more about aggression than effectiveness. As the battle rages on, the reality becomes clear. The tank's sheer strength, firepower, and reinforced design make it an overwhelming force in this battle. The gorilla, despite its incredible physical capabilities, can only do so much. Without tools, a coordinated strategy, or a vulnerable spot on the tank, the Silverback is outmatched. The simulation ends, and the gorilla retreats, its efforts in vain against the tank's indestructible fortress. To understand this showdown more thoroughly, we reached out to some experts in the fields of wildlife biology and military technology. First, let's hear from Dr. Jane Mitchell, a leading primatologist who has studied gorillas for over 2 decades. Dr. Jane Mitchell, via interview. The silverback gorilla is an incredibly powerful animal. It's been documented that they can easily bend thick metal bars and snap tree branches like toothpicks. Their physical strength is beyond what most people realize. However, in terms of sheer force, there's a limit. While a gorilla is definitely strong enough to do significant damage to certain objects in the wild, a tank is built to withstand extreme stress, far beyond what a gorilla's strength can inflict. The military perspective brings us to Sergeant Marcus Stone, a former tank commander with years of experience operating one of the most powerful machines in the world. Sergeant Marcus Stone, via interview. When you're inside a tank, the focus is always on protection and firepower. These machines are designed to survive direct hits from missiles and explosive rounds. The armor is incredibly tough, and the systems inside are built to function under extreme conditions. The force generated by a gorilla, no matter how strong, simply doesn't compare to the forces tanks are designed to endure. A gorilla might cause some minor cosmetic damage, like scratches or dents, but nothing that would stop the tank from functioning. These experts seem to agree. While the gorilla is a formidable creature, it's no match for the technology that goes into building modern tanks. The tank's armor, its advanced materials, and its designed resilience to extreme forces simply outclass the natural power of the gorilla. The Silverback might have the strength and determination, but the tank has been engineered to survive attacks that far exceed what an animal can produce. However, there's an interesting point here. While a tank would win in a direct head-to-head battle, it's the gorilla's intelligence and adaptability that would make this more than just a simple contest of strength. If this was a longer battle, with more time for the gorilla to study the tank and its weaknesses, there might be a chance for it to find a way around the raw power of the tank's armor. But in a straightforward fight, the gorilla is outmatched by technology. Let's imagine a few different scenarios where the battle between the gorilla and the tank takes unexpected turns. What if the tank was rendered completely immobile, say, due to mechanical failure or a lack of ammunition? In that case, the gorilla might have a chance to find weak points more effectively. Without the tank's ability to move, it would be much easier for the gorilla to focus its attack on vulnerable areas, like the tracks or even the optics. Now, let's throw another wrench in the mix. What if the gorilla wasn't just a wild animal, but was trained or enhanced in some way? Imagine a gorilla that's been taught to use tools or work with others. With its intelligence and problem-solving abilities, a trained silverback could potentially use its environment to outsmart the tank, perhaps setting traps or using objects in the jungle to create distractions, or even damage the tank from a distance. While this still might not make it a fair fight against the tank's advanced technology, it would at least make the battle more dynamic and unpredictable. But here's a truly wild thought. What if the gorilla had backup? A few more silverbacks in the mix could change the odds. With their combined strength, they might be able to wear down the tank's defenses over time, attacking it from multiple angles. Even if the tank had the upper hand in firepower and protection, the gorillas might be able to outlast it, targeting weak spots with coordinated attacks. The idea of a full-on gorilla assault on a tank would certainly make for a fascinating battle, though it's still unclear if it would be enough to overpower the armored beast. All of these alternate versions show us one thing. While the tank remains the dominant force in this contest, the more we tweak the variables, whether it's a mechanical breakdown, the gorilla's intelligence, or a team effort, the more we see how a battle could potentially go in unexpected directions. Ultimately, it's a fascinating thought experiment to consider how these two powerful forces, one created by nature and the other by human engineering, would interact under different conditions. After considering the facts, breaking down the strength of each contender, and running through a few hypothetical scenarios, it's time for the final verdict. The tank, with its immense firepower, reinforced armor, and advanced technology, simply outmatches the gorilla in a one-on-one battle. The gorilla, despite being an extraordinary force in the natural world, doesn't have the means to break through the tank's design. The tank's armor, designed to withstand bombs and missiles, is just too much for even the strongest land animal to penetrate. While the gorilla could cause some cosmetic damage, perhaps to vulnerable areas like the tracks or optics, it's unlikely that any of its attacks would significantly affect the tank's performance. The sheer power of the tank's cannon and its ability to maneuver make it the overwhelming victor in this battle. However, it's important to recognize that this is not just about who wins in a fight. It's about appreciating the incredible abilities of both the gorilla and the tank. The gorilla's strength, intelligence, and raw power are impressive in their own right, and in the right circumstances, it could find ways to outmaneuver or distract the tank. But in a head-to-head contest, technology simply takes the lead. It's a reminder that both nature and technology have their own forms of brilliance. The gorilla in its wild, primal force, and the tank in its unmatched engineering and precision. Each has its domain, and in this case, the tank remains the undisputed champion of this battle. So, what do you think? Do you agree with the outcome, or do you think there's a way the gorilla could have come out on top? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this epic showdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more what-if battles coming your way soon. Stay tuned, because next time, we might just find out what happens when a tiger takes on a robot dog. You won't want to miss it. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to imagine some other epic battles that could spark your imagination. What if we put a tiger up against a robot dog? With the tiger's speed, agility, and powerful bite, it could be a serious threat to any machine. But the robot dog, equipped with advanced tech and perhaps even artificial intelligence, could bring a whole new set of challenges. The battle would be a blend of natural instincts versus cutting-edge innovation. A clash we definitely need to see. Or picture this: a bear going head-to-head with a helicopter. The bear's strength and sheer power could potentially make it a formidable opponent, but would it be enough to take down something as advanced and fast as a helicopter? The unpredictability of this battle would be off the charts, with the bear using its raw force to try and fight something that could soar through the skies. We've only scratched the surface when it comes to these what-if battles, and we're just getting started. If you've got any dream showdowns of your own, let me know in the comments below. Your idea might just be the next one we explore. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this wild ride, hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe for more epic showdowns coming soon. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's next.